Hey YouTube! As you're probably quite bored with hearing recently, I got a Roland Microcube because I was so impressed with the Microcube bass, which I've really been loving the last couple of weeks. Even though I've had it for a few months, it's really kicked in. That's why I got the matching guitar amp. And I've been really impressed with the sound of the amp. I think it's fantastic. Thing is, before I did actually have a battery powered amp. I got this in a trade, a Line 6 Spider, Micro Spider, Microcube, and it's like I kind of always thought it's just like a, it's like a sort of a knockoff of a cube. Really, it's a competitor. I haven't listened to this for 6 months. Actually, we used it with some of the JPAC stuff, but it wasn't competing well with the big amps and stuff like that. So I just wonder if it is actually going to sound good. I mean, on paper it kind of looks fine. I don't remember it sounded as good as this, but same thing. It's got the funny handles on it. It's got a different layout. I can't see whether you can see it or not. Yeah, so you get it saves. It's like a modelling amp. So these knobs, apart from the master volume, which is a real knob, are all like digital knobs. So you can, if you go into the clean channel and then adjust all the settings to what you want, and then you hold the button in for 2 seconds and it saves whatever those settings are. So when you go into the crunch channel, all the knobs still look like they're at the positions they were in the clean channel, but they're all zeroed. So as soon as you touch them, they'll become active again, if you know what I mean. I made that sound more confusing than it is. So it's got an acoustic simulator on it as well, or an acoustic amp, not an acoustic simulator for plugging an acoustic into it. But it's when you're looking at it, I didn't really notice this until now. It's got this sticker which I meant to peel off, but I haven't done it yet. So it's like insane rockstar tone, 4 famous Spider 3 amp models. Actually, does this 1, 2, 3? No, that's good. That's good. Okay, has more models. Acoustic amp model doesn't have an acoustic amp model on the Cube. I think the Cube's a good bit older. 6 Smart Control FX, 2 at a time. Yeah, so it's got the 2 effects banks as well. You know, you can have one on at a time. It's like off, then it kind of goes up chorus flange, and then when it gets to a third of the way around, it's now on the phaser, and then another third of the way around it's tremolo. And on the other one we've got sweep echo, tape echo, and reverb. That's not what's on this. This one has chorus, flanger, phaser, and tremolo. Let's get chorus, flanger as one thing. This is chorus and then flanger, and then delay and reverb, and that's sweep echo and reverb, echo and delay. Don't know. But I suppose you're looking at it and you think this one does have bass, middle, and treble, which that one does not have. It's got a tone knob. But when I was looking through the feature-rich portability, the 6 watts and a 6.5 inch speaker, I bet you that this 6.5 inch speaker, I bet you it's like a 5.5 inch speaker that's in that one. And I don't know how many watts these are. I don't think they're very many. I think there may be only 3, so they're better. And then it's which I never, the way this is worded, chromatic tuner with note name display. Well, it's a strange thing to mention that it's got note name display on it. It's because the tuner on the Cube is it's got a battery in it, doesn't it? Here's the tuner here. You can set it to A flat or A flat flat, and you hit it, and it gives you an A to tune to. So that's why. Or if you hit it softly, it does it quietly. Or if you hit it hard. So I think that's just a technology thing. That's something I think the Cube GX or whatever it is worth maybe paying an extra tenner to get a proper tuner in it. So I do actually have the power supply for this. Be careful with the power supply for this. It's AC. So I was looking at it going, maybe I can use that power supply for the Cubes. I've got one power supply. I got one with the bass amp, but I didn't get one with the guitar amp. So the guitar amp will be running on batteries. I think actually, am I right in thinking this doesn't take the same batteries? I was surprised at the. Aye, that takes it might be C size. If you're the same age as me, it's the ones that went in the Snow Speeder and the ones that went in the Millennium Falcon, not the ones that went in the ATAC. You know, the big ones, the ones bigger than Walkman batteries. So the next one up from AA, whereas even the bass amp both run on, and the wee one run on the 86, 88 ones, the same as the Black Star Fly does. Yep, so I suppose I'll get to try I'll turn it on. Where's the on switch? Okay. And then I'll put the tuner on, hold for tuner. And then, oh, it's got note display tuning. And I'll give the corker a shot through it, see what's going on. I will have been messing about with this. I seem to remember setting this up and trying to set up the 4 sounds as sort of clean a little bit again, and then one with a rap pedal on it, and then a heavy metal one, or something like that. Mic and guitar and something's on the front. So it'll still be set, it'll remember those settings. Yes, I mean the tuner's way better. The tuner's that's a significantly better tuner than what's on the bass amp as well. What I think I'm going to get for the bass amp as a mod is, I don't know what you call it. You get like a wee like a sort of disco ball thing. Not like not a mirror ball like that. You know, like it's a wee that thing that looks like a bit like a colander with like coloured lights inside it, like a wee shitty battery operated thing. That must exist. You know, something that turns. It's got like a sort of like a wee mini disco that runs on a battery. I quite fancy having that stuck to the top of the Roland cube. Okay, so the effects maybe. Right, let's zero everything, see where we're at. Bit of reverberary on it. That's a clean channel. Maybe get some single coil action. Yeah. Yeah, so the clean does not sound particularly clean to me, really. But it's obviously it must save the settings of the effects as well. I suppose I'm just going to try and maybe it's just my head, but I mean, is that is the cube not just sounds? I'll just go for JC clean. Gain at half. It's not actually that different. Maybe this guitar's just really powerful. One of the things that, because I keep moving that amp about, there's only 6 knobs on it, but you can move them dead easily when you can it because it's got a stupid handle. So the tone was right down there. So that didn't take. I can't even see what the knobs say to get it to sound like that. So this one, can I get a sound that's like that? interesting because that's been set before. If I press it again, it'll go back to it does have that echo on it, which I'll turn off. Miles better. Right, crunch then. And this, again, these settings have been set by me at some point. That's not even the most distorted one. Actually, the crunch channel sounds quite clean when you've been using the insane one. That's just too bright. I need to turn that off. So if I just stick a wee bit of reverb on though. Then you hold it in for a second till it flashes. And that's it now, set at that. What do you mean, for being a technical thing, I'm not struggling with that. That's the idea. I like the idea. You're sitting there thinking, I think it might even have a foot switch. You know, if I had an up and down foot switch, that'd be pretty cool, so you could actually cycle through them. But it's dead easy to set, whatever you're set to. I think the problem with something like this, I suppose it's the same as a lot of big amps when I don't really ever touch the EQ settings very much, but I'm always in here, it's always sitting there. Whereas something like that, I seem to remember before, you know, it's the sort of thing you go, right, we're going camping or download or whatever it was that we're doing. So I set it up so that thinking when I'm out, I've got like, you know, 4 usable sounds, the ones that I like, but it depends very much where you are, especially if you're going outside. Suddenly your EQ settings which sound great in this room sound pure awful, or if you're somewhere echoey, or you know, so you do need to be able to adjust it, whereas I think the Roland doesn't have much to adjust, which is maybe be a good thing. Do you know, it's kind of like, see if you take away the pillow from in front of the amp. It sounds kind of like that, but with a pillow in front of it. I wasn't really that impressed with the more distorted sounds in this one. I don't know, see, that does kind of sound like a Fender amps. Was that a twin? A black panel. No, single coil amp. Then British combo, so it'd be like a Beatles with it. Kinda, actually, yeah. But these don't have the four that are set up in the line 6 can obviously be preset at their own volume. There is a master volume, but all the other ones are controlled by the preset, so you can have them all the right volumes apart, and then just have a master volume. Whereas on this one, I've just changed amp setting there. There's still a gain and a tone and a stuff like that, which have just stayed where they are. See, on that amp, maybe taking a little bit of the tone off. This is a really good guitar. You maybe wouldn't notice as much difference between the two if you were playing like a wee travel guitar. Oh, alright, what's the next one? Classic. It's quite conclusive to me. I think, see, this wee amp, I've done videos of this before, and see, for being outside and assuming it runs well on batteries, the Cube seems to be exactly the same on batteries or on power, so it doesn't really matter. So I'm assuming it's the same on batteries. It does have some functions that are quite good, and maybe these sounds are more kind of what you're wanting, because there's an awful lot more scope in the sounds. You know, this is more of a, you set up the song that you're going to play and then that's you, whereas on this one you can have 4 different bits of the song. Also, this has a microphone input and its own volume control, so you can sing through it, and it's got an MP3. I don't know. I don't know if the MP3 and the microphone might share, but so I mean, I did have a jam with my pal Dal when I had the bass plugged into the microphone input and the guitar into the front, and it was kind of working. So you could kind of play 2 things through it, but also obviously just singing, or maybe an electroacoustic. Also, it's got the acoustic amp mode, where if you hold down the crunch and the metal ones, it goes into acoustic amp, not acoustic simulator, which, to be honest, would be a pretty cool thing to have. I wonder if I wonder if the Cube GX, that's one of the things I would maybe think would be a quite handy thing to have in there, if you've got like an acoustic simulator, maybe a 12-string acoustic simulator as an amp option would be pretty cool. Should probably look it up. I bet the new ones are amazing. And I mean, it's plenty loud. I just think it's down to, when I was judging this, I was looking for something, you know, you're outside or somewhere you can't, you know, having a barbecue or something like that. So it's got to be loud enough to play along with lots of people singing and playing drunk acoustic, and it totally is. And it's got to sound decent, and for being outside and being battery powered, it sounds fine. The difference is, in the house, it's kind of alright, whereas the Cubes actually sounds quite good on its own, you know, regardless of it being battery powered and all that. It's just, it's loud enough. I still think the best sounds the clean one. See, you touch that tone. Johnny, listen. Maybe the acoustic thing. Maybe it is an acoustic simulator. I was thinking it was like an acoustic amp, the same way that one's an acoustic amp. I think that's an acoustic simulator. It totally is. There you go. So that's been literally that time. Oh, you get chorus as well. Sorry. Close, but it's working with it. We'll pick it. I'll be honest, I think that as far as acoustic simulation goes, that's as good as having a piezo pickup in your guitar. It's in many ways better than having a piezo pickup in your guitar if you don't have a separate output for it to put it into like a PA. That's. I can't believe I was talking about it. Wouldn't it be good if it had that, or maybe the more modern one had it and it's actually just got it. Yeah, so there are some things better about the Line 6 Spider. If you really like the idea of being able to switch through the 4 channels and have them set up kind of like a wee pedal board on it. I was actually thinking, I'm sure it does have a foot switch on the back. I'm sure it does, because I was going to put... No, it doesn't. See, I was thinking wouldn't it be cool if it's like, see if you had like the push button stomp switches, and you actually I just fitted them to the top of the cabinet, so you just stomped on the amp to change up and down the channels. But it doesn't do that. I think there's higher up ones that do a foot channel, or you just get like a special what was it they had in Futurama? You know, you get the thing longer. You could get like a toe longer, which meant you could actually just reach and press the button to switch between them quite easily. And the tuner is. I'm going to say that the tuner in the Cube is better than having nothing at all. It's, you know, I can imagine a situation when you're just arguing over, you know, there's 2 guitars and they're all sounding funny, and there's no reference note. Not these days though, because you've got a phone with a tuner. But you know what I mean. So it's better than nothing, but it's only just a wee bit better than nothing. Whereas that's got a decent tuner in it. That's worth it. The effects. I don't really dive into them that much, but for me it's just like that just sounds much better at everything. I think they're probably more expensive new, but these are getting old now. You can get them cheap second hand for probably I don't know what the prices are between them. I might not put this video out because I'm going to sell that. I don't think I'll get very much for it. But actually I'll probably put it up for what I got that for, because I would definitely do that swap. So I'm testing this on batteries. As I said, I've only got one power supply for the bass one, so I'm testing the guitar one, see how long the batteries last. I can't believe it does acoustic so well. I can't believe I hadn't noticed. And the reason, when it said acoustic, I assumed because of that, because I remember thinking on this, oh, I could put I was playing the bass through the acoustic bit, because the acoustic bit was basically just an amp for plugging an acoustic in. If you know what I mean. Whereas that isn't. That is an acoustic simulator, and or you can have a mic at the other end. So I suppose that you plug the acoustic into the mic input, wouldn't you? I wish I could have a. See if I could work out some way of having a looper on it. Mind you, we did mess about with this the other day, and it was like, when you're running, because it's such a wee speaker, when you're running more than one thing, you know, if you've got like a rhythm guitar track coming on, and then you're playing a lead guitar over the top of it, they are both fighting for the same speaker a bit, so there's a bit of, just because it's so wee, you don't notice it as much using the, in fact, to be honest, that was one of the reasons, you do notice it, see, putting the bass in, that's, you know, I run the bass, I've got like a stereo looper, and I've got the bass coming out of that speaker, and the guitar out of that. One of the reasons I did that, apart from because it was cool and I happened to have a stereo looper for doing synthesizer stuff, was I was getting a bit of that. So if you do a rhythm guitar and then put a thumping bass on top of it, they're both recorded on the same thing, and they're both fighting for the same speaker. Whereas that way, if I ever end up, no, the bass is a bit loud, I've got the bass amp, I can just turn it down or turn it up if it's something unbeatable. So anyone want to swap anything for a Line 6 portable amp? It might be good if you fanny about with the knobs a lot, but I think I fannied about with the knobs quite a lot before. It just, you're kind of trying to get a decent sound, whereas that one you just turn it on and it's a decent sound, and then you can mess about with it, and it kind of all the sounds on that are. I can't really find a new one, and even I'm loving the chorus on it. I've never liked chorus or been able to use it, but for some reason it really works on that way. And there's your jazz chorus. You're hearing the boxing is there. It just mushes out. But it's still in there, the wee speaker is still able to produce all the notes. See there, when it goes into distortion, it's too much. It's got to be just. Fun to be had, but that's kind of like messing with a sound that's already good, trying to make it even better, as opposed to that's more like sort of messing with the sound, trying to get something that you like at all. Which I had a similar experience. I tried to use a Marshall GCM 2000 in the studio one time, and I just couldn't make it work. It was just like it was like that. It was every knob was just, it was a sound I didn't like, and every knobs were just variations of the same sound that I didn't like. The thing that it was doing that I didn't like, I couldn't get rid of. But I'm kind of tempted to look and see what. There's a few. I mean, we're talking about finding faults and things and trying to. Obviously, a nicer tuner would be nice, but I mean, I'm not going to complain about that. Better than not being there. And the bass version's a more modern thing, but I still don't think it's that modern because it doesn't have. Even that one, it says it's got the chromatic tuner with note name display, which you wouldn't think of as meaning very much. The Cube bass doesn't have it. It's probably 10 years old. I mean, that might be 25 years old or something like that. So it's got like a... See where you choose which amp model you're doing. It's like, like a Ampeg and a blah, blah, blah. It's Ampeg and E. And then if you go to the vendor, it's D. So you kind of... When you put the tuner on, you select which note using the amp selector. And then you tune your guitars up like that. And then turn the tuner off and you're... So it's not like an automatic tuner, but it's bit acceptable. Obviously, you could have a tuner on your phone, you could have a clip-on tuner, or any of these things, but clip-on tuners don't look cool. You'll be flying by the seat of your pants. Is he in tune? Is it in tune? We don't know. It sounds so big. And the newly found acoustic sounds. That's like how new are the strings on your acoustic? Or newer? It's been amazing. It does totally sound like when you hear any piezo sounds from like the 80s, like I'm thinking like folk using like the Ovation bowbacks and stuff like that to actually be able to play on stage with an acoustic. That's what that sounds like. Not saying it sounds exactly like an acoustic, it sounds exactly like an acoustic in that situation. Maybe just whack some more reverb on that, you might hear. I suppose, I take it this one does have some sort of input on it. Maybe it doesn't. Auxiliary in. Okay, yeah, it does. It's got an auxiliary in. So I'd imagine that would just be like a line in for playing your... Depending on how old it was, you'd put maybe for a CD player or your Walkman or something. Whereas that one actually says MP3 on it because it's of the era when MP3s exist. So you can play a backing track and then jam along with. I'm not really one for backing tracks, but I love a backing track I've just put in. It's just 3 chords. I mean, I would love to find some way of. Like, I'm going to have a look and see what the more modern Cubes does. There's one that looks really cool. It kind of looks like an old ghetto blaster. It's like 2 speakers, but it's not deep. And it's got a handle on it. Things that these don't have. I'd imagine it probably sounds better than that because it's the most modern one. It's 200 quid or something. But see if it would have a see if it had a loop pedal that was after the preamp but before the power amp, like in the effects loop, if it worked this way, so that I could, for example, have that acoustic sound. Yeah, and then record that into the loop pedal, and then the loop pedal would play that sound, right? Unaffected by what I did with the knobs after that. So when I put on, so after I'd done the lead sound, I could change onto like the jazz chorus sound for some lead, and I'd be able to use all the effects on that as well, because the effects were already recorded. So it'd have to be a post effects pre power amp insert lead with that wee legato tuner, that wee legato thing, that wee legato tuner, right? Keep going here, right? That wee legato tuner somehow connected up to the internal battery so that it doesn't need power. Stuck to the top of the amp, and then in with an insert lead going in, and then having that, because then it's got a tuner in it as well. Ha! See? And that'd be pure amazing. Imagine when all those effects and all those sounds, but being able to have a... You'd end up wanting a bass of some description. But maybe you get that in the... Yeah, look up. So basically, I wouldn't have any... For me, there's no competition. So you get the Cube, and as I said, there is the Microcube GX is. I don't think they make any of them anymore, but is the one that's like the more modern one of that, which I think does have a proper tuner in it, and it's got more models and an extra more features. And the Line 6 is of its time. I don't know, but the thing is, maybe depends what it is you want to do. Sometimes you just want lots of distortion. Maybe it's really good for, like download band music sort of stuff, but maybe not so good for. See, it just doesn't. Not getting that out of that. But that's it's almost like, I know it's a bit silly considering I'm just considering it as a battery amp, but it's solid state, which does have advantages over valves. Not very much so when you're doing any sort of drive or running rat pedals and stuff, but when you're playing clean, so that's why I like that. I need to fix it properly, the Carlton amp, because it was a solid state, and they just do something better, and it's like the jazz chorus which is what this is kind of sounding like. It does, compete in some ways and is better than the tube amps. It just gets so much when I'm on the jazz chorus. It's so even digital. Nice to have the drum machine in there as well, wouldn't it? I'm now sitting here wondering about I'll stop talking about battery powered amps soon. Promise, but I'm wondering, it's like, what sort of technology have they got now for the ability of, you're saying taking out a treble acoustic? How small can you get an amp there was a Black Star acoustic amp, wasn't there? You know, and like something like that. Can you get something that's the size of the Black Star Fly that basically plays that? And I'm sitting at a quarter volume. Only has to do the volume it's at just now, but you're able to do that where you could basically have like an electric guitar instead of having to take an acoustic, even a travel acoustic, because you know an electric guitar is much smaller than even a travel size acoustic guitar, and it's a proper one if that's your acoustic thing. This seems fine. Okay. So I don't know what day you'll see this. I don't know where I'm going to be or anything like that. I'm going on JPEG's on tour. Maybe see us on the telly or something.